Hey, everybody, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
That FOMO feeling?
Oh, yeah.
Fear of missing out.
It's real.
We're going to dive deep into that today.
Okay.
We've got some really cool sources for this one.
All right.
We're looking at Epicurus, the ancient Greek philosopher.
Okay.
And we're also going to be looking at this idea of Qana'ah.
Interesting.
Which is an Islamic concept.
Oh, okay.
And it basically translates to like contentment or satisfaction.
All right. I'm interested to see how those two connect.
Yeah, me too.
That's cool.
So
where should we begin?
Well, let's start with Epicurus.
Okay.
So Epicurus was really big on happiness.
Right.
But not necessarily happiness in the way that we think about it today.
Right.
Like, our modern definition of happiness.
Right.
Like having all the toys and all the,
stuff and the experiences.
It wasn't about that for him.
So what was it about?
It was more about minimizing desire.
Minimizing desire. And it's interesting because, he lived in ancient Greece during this time of like upheaval, like the Hellenistic period where there was all this anxiety.
Right.
And he noticed that people were chasing pleasure. They were chasing external validation. Right. But it didn't seem like they were actually finding lasting happiness.
Yeah, it doesn't really work, does it?
Not really.
So he had this radical idea.
What was that?
It was that true happiness.
Okay.
Or, as he called it, ataraxia.
Ataraxia, okay.
Comes from minimizing, like I was saying, unnecessary desire.
So instead of maximizing pleasure, he was saying minimize the things you want.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, like recognize that true fulfillment isn't found in all these,
fleeting.
Yeah, fleeting pleasures and all this external stuff.
But more like a tranquility and inner peace.
Inner peace.
Yeah.
So, that sounds good in theory, but like, how do we do that?
Right.
In our world today?
It's a good question because we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us we need to buy more.
Yes.
We need to do more.
Yes.
We need to be more.
It's hard to even imagine like minimizing desire. We're constantly being told we need more.
Yeah. It's definitely a challenge.
Yeah.
I think Epicurus had some ideas though.
Okay, what were they?
About how to actually do this.
Okay.
So he said we should simplify our needs.
Okay.
And appreciate the simple things in life.
Like what kind of things?
Well, just like the beauty of nature.
Mm-hmm.
Spending time with loved ones. Mm-hmm. The feeling of sunshine on your skin.
Yeah.
Simple things.
Okay.
He argued that if we can do those things, we can appreciate those things.
Right.
We'll experience less anxiety. And more contentment.
That makes sense, because the less we need to be happy, the less we'll feel like we're lacking things.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a pretty simple idea.
Yeah.
But it's powerful.
Didn't he have a quote about this?
He did.
Something like, it's not what we have that makes us happy.
Right.
But how much we can be content with it.
Yes, exactly.
It's so true.
It is.
So it's not just about the stuff.
No.
It's about our desires in general. Like if we're always chasing what we don't have, we kind of miss out on appreciating what we do have.
That's the irony, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more you chase, the more dissatisfied you become. Interesting.
Okay, so we talked about Epicurus.
Right.
And this idea of minimizing desire.
Yeah.
And kind of going inward to find contentment.
Right.
So how does that connect to this Islamic idea of
Qana'ah?
Well,
it's interesting because while Epicurus was focused on minimizing desire, Qana'ah offers a different perspective.
Okay, what's that?
It's the idea of being satisfied with what God has provided.
Okay.
So it's about trusting in God's wisdom and God's plan. Mm-hmm. And instead of minimizing your desires, you're cultivating this deep sense of gratitude and acceptance for what you've already been given.
Okay, so it's kind of like surrendering.
In a way, yes.
But doesn't that lead to complacency?
That's a good question, because some people might say that.
Right,
like,
anyway.
why bother striving for anything if you're already content with what you have?
Yeah, you're just going to sit on the couch all day and eat potato chips.
But that's actually a misconception. Qana'ah is not about passivity. It's about finding this balance.
Balance between what?
Between striving for what's good and trusting that your portion is enough.
So you're not just sitting back and doing nothing.
No.
You're still striving.
You're still putting in the effort.
But you're also trusting.
You're also trusting that what you have is enough.
Okay.
It's about the richness of the soul.
Yeah.
Not about having a lot of stuff.
That reminds me of that saying by the Prophet Muhammad.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Richness is not having many possessions. Rather, true richness is the richness of the soul.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a beautiful saying.
Yeah.
It's hard to live by, though.
I was going to say, it's easy to say,
right?
But it's hard to actually put into practice.
Yeah, because...
especially in a society that's constantly pushing us to achieve more.
Yeah, to strive for more.
Yeah, and acquire more.
Yeah.
So it's almost like there's this pressure to not be content.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like we're almost encouraged to be discontent.
Right.
Because that's what drives the economy.
Yeah.
That's what drives consumerism.
Right.
So how do we break free from that? Well, I think that's where the wisdom of both Epicurus and Qana'ah comes in.
Okay, how so?
They both remind us that contentment is an inside job. It's not about what you achieve.
Okay.
It's not about what you acquire.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating this sense of inner peace. Gratitude. And just an appreciation for what you already have.
Yeah.
It's a simple message.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful.
Yeah. And our source had this really cool analogy.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
About two people standing at a crossroads.
Okay.
And one person is like frantically running down every path.
Oh, wow.
Terrified of missing out.
Right.
And the other person is just like choosing one direction.
Okay.
With this sense of trust and peace.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So they're not worried about this they're missing out on.
They're just trusting.
They're trusting.
That the path that they've chosen is enough.
It's a powerful image. And it makes you think about like how we make decisions in our own lives.
Yeah. Are we that person?
Right.
Running down every path, trying to do all the things.
Trying to do it all.
And be all the things.
Yeah.
Afraid to miss out.
Or are we able to just trust that one path is enough?
It's scary though.
It is.
To think about like missing out.
Yeah.
But maybe if we're so busy chasing all the opportunities.
Yeah.
We're not actually appreciating.
You're not present.
Yeah.
You're not enjoying the path that you're on.
Right.
You're so worried about what's over there.
Yeah.
You're not even paying attention to what's right in front of you.
It's so true.
And that's where I think the practical steps that our source outlines are so helpful.
Yeah. Let's talk about those.
Okay.
So the first one was gratitude.
Gratitude. Yeah.
So how does gratitude help with FOMO?
Well, when you're actively focusing on what you're grateful for, it shifts your perspective. It takes you out of that scarcity mindset of like, I don't have enough.
Right.
And it puts you into this abundance mindset of like, wow, I have so much.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be big things.
Yep.
You know, it could be simple things like a roof over your head.
Yeah.
Food on the table.
Your health.
Your health. The people in your life. Yeah.
Simple things.
It's about appreciating what you do have.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's where the second step comes in.
Okay. What's that?
Being intentional.
Intentional. Okay.
So like with our choices,
right,
we have to ask ourselves like, is this activity, is this thing that I'm doing, does it align with my values? Is it actually contributing to my well-being?
That's a great question to ask.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we do things out of habit or out of boredom.
Or because everybody else is doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we need to be more intentional about our choices.
Yeah, and ask ourselves, like, is this really serving me?
Is this bringing me joy?
Yeah. And I think social media is a big culprit here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, how much time are we spending scrolling?
Endless scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is it actually bringing us joy?
Right.
Or is it just fueling that?
The comparison game?
The FOMO.
Yeah. So maybe we need to step away from the screen.
Yeah.
And engage in activities that actually bring us joy.
Right.
That actually align with our values.
Look, exactly.
Okay. And the third step is simplifying our desires.
Simplifying desires. And this goes back to what Epicurus was talking about.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that the less we need, the more content will be.
That's so countercultural.
It is.
Yeah. It's like we're always told we need more.
More is better.
More is better, yeah.
But actually, less can be more.
Yeah, so FOMO is this thief that steals our joy by making us focus on what we don't have.
What we lack.
What we're missing out on.
Right.
And contentment, whether we find it through the philosophy of Epicurus or this Islamic idea of Qana'ah, is about choosing to find satisfaction within ourselves.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it.
And it reminds me of that quote from our source.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
The one who is content is never poor.
So much wisdom in those few words.
Yeah.
So true.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Another deep dive
into contentment
and how to overcome
FOMO.
FOMO.
It's a journey.
It is.
But even small steps can make a big difference.
So how can you apply these ideas of Epicurean philosophy in Qana'ah to cultivate more contentment and freedom from FOMO in your own life?
It's a question worth pondering.
It is.
All right. Until next time.
See ya.